Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to this first impressions walkthrough of the Pacific Northwest Tarot by Brendan Marnell. I am so excited to get into this deck, you guys. I backed this on Kickstarter. If you don't already know, I was actually born and raised in the Pacific Northwest of Washington State, and I'm excited about this. I feel like this could be my I don't know, my connection to land deck. I don't really have, I have animal decks for sure, but I haven't yet had one that feels so deeply connected to the areas I've always lived. I now live in the Vancouver area of BC, so I just went a little further north, but like I still feel like this is the Pacific Northwest. You know what I mean? I guess in Canada it would be, what, the Pacific Southwest? Do you guys have a name? I say you guys, are Canadians in the room who are watching this video. Is there a, do you call it South? I think you call it Southwest. I think it's called Southwestern BC. You know what? It doesn't matter, but I think it's called Southwestern BC. Anyway, the fact that there is a spider on this box and I still love it, just, yeah, that's just a whole thing. Anyways, we're going to get into it. It does have my favorite kind of box, which is this wraparound magnetic style, which I love. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. And I have a bit of a confession coming, I'm pretty sure, later in the video. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I love this lemniscate. I'm going to zoom us in. Made out of birds here. Let's pull everything out of the box. I am so excited to get into this. The fact that there is a river otter here, or an otter, I shouldn't specify because you guys know me and animal identification is not the best. But the fact that there is that on the Fool makes me really happy. I have a specific fondness for otters, and of sea otters, I love sea otters, and I also love river otters, but watching river otters play in the Seattle Aquarium is one of the most memorable things I think I've ever experienced. I don't know why, there's a way that they play and move that is so enchanting to me. Anyway, we do get a guidebook, and it's not got pictures in it. That's totally fine with me, and we will take a closer look at that here after we look at the cards. But I just kind of want to take a little tour through the deck itself. Let me make sure I'm zoomed in enough, and let's go through. So we have our Fool. The Magician is the Crow really works. I love this. I didn't even show the backs. I love this art style. It's very... there's something about this. It feels very clean. I've always been attracted to this art style. It's something that it just feels easy to look to me and really clear. I feel like this deck may knock at least one other animal deck out of my collection. Just based on what I remember from the Kickstarter campaign, our High Priestess. This really works. The magic of this like sort of spider here. And the book, actually, I always say I'm gonna look at it at the end. I don't know why I do that, because I'm regularly, especially in animal decks, I wanna cheat. So this is a goldenrod crab spider, and I love that the book actually specifies what we're looking at here. It says secret, mystery, intuition, hidden talents, and knowledge, accessing the subconscious and stillness. It says the crab spider scoffed at the showy, okay, you know what? We're just going to talk about the guidebook right freaking now. Listen to the way that this is written. The crab spider scoffed at the showy web in the nearby sapling. Instead, she perched inside her flower, a delicate secret enfolded in the petals, and she waited. She waited until her coloration matched the flower. She waited until what she needed came to her. In the stillness, she relied on intuition. For the unsuspecting honeybee, drawn close by color and nectar and curiosity, the flower's hidden knowledge was revealed only in her last moments. As the spider's embrace enfolded around her, the drone realized that secrets can be dangerous. Okay, that is written like an excerpt from a story, and I am sold. Like 1000%. I'm here for it. Now I want to read the whole thing, but we're not going to do that. That's not fair. Okay, so the Empress is a bunny. I love rabbits and bunnies in general for empresses. It just makes so much sense to me. The Emperor is a mountain lion. Mountain lion or cougar? Mountain lion. Pretty sure that's a mountain lion. And that's the other thing. I'm kind of hopeful that mountain lion. Nope. That mountain lion is next. Wait. Hold on. Oh, there's an error in the book. Okay, so the Emperor in the book says it's Roman numeral 5. This is actually 4. I was like, wait, this is the mountain lion, but it's... Anyway, so there's a little typo in there. Easy to miss, I'm sure, but yeah, this is our mountain lion. And this, it almost looks like Mount Baker in the background. I don't know if that's intentional. I suspect it may be. Actually, does it say? Does it name the mountain? No, it just says mountain. But it looks like Mount Baker, which is a mountain in Washington State. The Hierophant as the honeybee makes a lot of sense. And I love the keys here. I love how deep and kind of, you get this idea that the honeybee is guarding the hive being knowledge, the hive mind. There's so many places you could go with that as the Hierophant. And it's funny because typically we wouldn't see the bee as the Hierophant. We would see the bee as the Empress maybe, or we might see the bee like in one of the Pentacles cards or something like that. This is beautiful. The lovers are these two foxes playing. And I didn't think we had foxes in the Pacific Northwest. Gray foxes. Yes. Okay. Yes, we do. Yeah. The chariot is the whale, gray whale specifically. We have the salmon for strength. And this is the thing, is that this is recognizable to me. And sockeye salmon specifically here, the book says. Then we have our black bear for the hermit. Again, beautiful, particularly with the idea of hibernation. For Wheel of Fortune, is this a snail? Hold on. Black turban snail, yes. Justice is the osprey, catching a fish here. And again, we have the scales sort of illustrated here on the card. It's interesting to me because we have the wheel illustrated here. I'm just kind of taking a peek at what I might have missed. Yeah, the lemniscate illustrated. So there's like these little details added in the artwork. I love this because I love the way that the osprey's wings are extending past the border. I love it. And actually that's true throughout. The borders are like there to create some containment, but they don't interfere with the artwork. The artwork just kind of does its own thing around the border. The idea of a chrysalis for the hanged one always makes so much sense for me. I guess this says it's a pupa, so I guess it's just emerging. Is that how that works? This is obviously the idea of the transformation of the butterfly, but that moment of waiting and of potential. Fungi, or in general, mushrooms for the death card just makes a lot of sense. This is actually the Western North American destroying angel. Is this a poisonous mushroom? I don't think it addresses it. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm not sure. These painted turtles are so common to see in little ponds and things out here. I love them for temperance. That's adorable. What are these? Japanese beetles. I'll have to read about that. We have the reverse pentacle down here. And the colors, too, are very vivid. Yeah, I'm really attracted to this art style. The tower is a tree. And at first glance, this looks like it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm like, where's my destruction? And then you notice all the smoke in the background. And you're like, oh, there's a fire. There's a forest fire. The star. What kind of bird? Mourning dove. I'm totally looking at the book now. Totally cheating. We have a duck, right? Pacific loon. Pacific loon. This is beautiful. Here we have a goose. Nope, trumpeter swan. You guys, seriously, should stop. I should stop. This is why we use the book. Judgment is the Taylor's checker spot butterfly, an adult. Oh, was this the same as the pupa, actually? And now I want to know. Was the... Oh, yep, Taylor's checker spot butterfly pupa was the hanged one. So that in Judgment card, the butterfly is now an adult and is like, oh, that's such a beautiful correlation. I love that. The world is a rose. So many beautiful rose bushes and rose gardens out here. The Ace of Wands. Oh, I know this flower. I'm going to have to cheat, but I know it. Canna. Oh, maybe I didn't know it. I thought I knew it. I recognized what it looks like, but I don't know the name, obviously. The Two of Wands. This is a hawk. Yeah, red-tailed hawk. We'll see these. Oh, this is the fledgling. And then here we have the adult of the same red-tailed hawk, which is super interesting. So you kind of have the youth, and then you have that same bird in full flight in the 3, which is another really cool progression. Then in the 4, we have red foxes. Okay, so I didn't know we had red foxes in the Pacific Northwest. So that's interesting. Bobcats for the 5 of Wands. Love that. Love how they're playing, like play fighting or fighting. Now we have geese, right? These are Canadian geese, yeah? Nope. Sandhill cranes. You guys, seriously. Sandhill cranes for the 6 of Wands. Mountain goat for the 7 of Wands. I don't think I've ever seen any mountain goats in the wild before. The 8 is the Vox's swifts. So I see these all the time, but I thought they were these were actually starlings. I don't know if they're a type of starling. But you see these out at the beaches and stuff. They move in like big clusters. They're very quick and they scatter. Porcupine, North American porcupine specifically. I'm trying to keep my finger out of the image, but I'm just excited. I love this image for the 10 of Wands. This is a moose, or nope, Rocky Mountain elk. You guys, every time I do it, I'm like, oh no. What I love about this though is how heavy and big the antlers are, and the idea that in the 10, often we're really burdened and weighed down by our responsibilities, and I just think that's illustrated really well for that concept. The Page of Wands is a kit fox. And then we have a coyote for the Knight of Wands. We do see coyotes pretty regularly. Look at this black kitty for the Queen of Wands. Perfection. I love the two different colored eyes. And then for the King of Wands, we have a gray wolf. See, I'm scared to guess now. Okay. The Ace of Cups is a, oh my gosh, I know these flowers. I was going to call them a hydrangea, but, oh, it is a hydrangea. Okay. It's a hydrangea. The very first time I ever got stung by a bee, it wasn't a hydrangea, but it was a similar flower. We see it all the time out here. I'll have to see if it's in here. Rhododendron. It was a rhododendron. And the flowers are kind of big and poofy like this. They're not exactly like this, but they're similar. And I had touched the flower, something like I had maybe leaned down to smell it, and kind of like, you know how you'll bend the bloom at the stem to kind of smell it better? I'd done something like that, and a honeybee came out and was startled and stung me. Poor thing. I say poor thing to it. I was obviously also startled, but here we have violet green swallows for the Two of Cups. This is so pretty. We have pale swallowtail, lorquin's admiral, and Bois de Val's blue butterflies. I'm pretty sure Brendan has a fondness for butterflies because those are some very specific types. This is the one I feel like I've seen probably the most, other than, I've seen these little blue ones. Actually, maybe I've seen this one the most other than monarchs out here. Dungeness crab for the 4. Oh, what is that? Fisher. Aww. Sorry, I'm going to stop. 6 of Cups, giant Pacific octopus. So here's the giant Pacific octopus, but these are like the babies. The damselfly or dragonfly. I think, what does he call it in here? Because I usually call them, yeah, damselfly. I usually call them dragonflies, but damselfly. Maybe there is an actual technical difference. Maybe I'm just calling them the wrong thing. In the 8, we have a lizard of some kind, and I didn't think we had a lot of lizards here. Northern alligator lizard. Oyster for the 9 of Cups. The whole oyster pearl symbology for the 9 of Cups totally works for me. I love that. It's like that hidden treasure. The 10 of Cups, the family here, is a family of birds, and we have violet green swallows again. So we had, oh, look, here's another progression. Okay, hold on. This is exciting. So here we have the 2 violet green swallows connecting and partnering up. And here they've obviously built a nest in this tree, and they've had little babies. Love that. Sorry for the throat clearing. My throat, I feel like with wintertime and such, I've had a lot of sinus, like, throat irritation. I just can't seem to get away from it. Walleye super, I thought it said super French. No, it says surf perch. I can't read. Surf perch. We have a dolphin for the Knight of Cups and an orca for the Queen of Cups. Okay, some kind of a turtle. Let me get back into my book here. Is it just a sea turtle? Leatherback sea turtle. Love that. In the swords, oh, what are you? I want to say a lily? Nope, yeah, common star lily. Oh, I got it right, you guys. A mole, coast mole, it says. Oh, so sad for the 3. What does it say here? Western tanager. Heartbreak, rejection, loss, grief, sadness, trauma, and betrayal. The tanager sang as he whirled through the sky. The sun shone on his back, causing his already bright plumage to iridesce into a million glowing hues of gold, red, and violet. His heart beat a rapid tempo of elation as he dove toward the ground and spiraled back on an updraft. As he flitted around trees and buildings, his eye caught a gleam of gold, a light as bright, as pure, as perfectly suited to him as his own reflection. With each momentary glimpse, the songbird adjusted his course toward the gleaming light until he was flying straight toward it. The glimmers of gold opened up into silvers, reds, violets, and pure white as he darted toward the light. It consumed his field of vision as he approached, and he opened his wings to meet it, to be welcomed into its embrace. The moment of impact came too fast, even to be a shock, and the light faded to darkness before the tanager hit the ground. Oh my goodness! So sad. Oh. The narrative way this is written, though, is really powerful. Moonglow anemone. We have an owl. Northern spotted owl with a Humboldt's flying squirrel in its grasp there. Hermit crab, black-eyed hermit crab. The Olympic short-tailed weasel with some robin's eggs in its mouth. Oh, is that a cacti? Wait. Oh, well, it doesn't. Does it tell us what this is? It probably does in the story. Oh yeah, it's a cacti. This is a Paiute ground squirrel. Then we have a Northern Pacific rattlesnake, bighorn sheep, but the bones of the bighorn sheep. I like that there were bones for the Ten of Swords. I mean, the Three of Swords was pretty hard. That one is a little bit easier, I think, to take. The horned lark for the Page of Swords. Northern goshawk for the Knight. The snowy white owl for the Queen of Swords. Oh, she's pretty. I love seeing snowy owls. That is a heron. Great blue heron, I think. Yeah, great blue heron. Sunflower, I knew that one. And a ladybug. Does it call ladybug or ladybird here? Oh, lady beetle, two-spotted lady beetle. And then, are these hornets? No, paper wasps. Oh, these guys. Yes, I know them. Acorn woodpecker. I'm going to say the wrong word. Oh, pronghorn. I definitely would have said the wrong word. Oh, that's cool. It's a tree growing out of a stump. Let's see, nurse log and red vole. Love that. And then we have black-tailed bumblebee. I see these all the time. Hummingbird. What kind? Rufus hummingbird. Rainier cherries. These are such a seasonal treat in this area. I love these. They're so good. And they're kind of more yellow usually than red, but you can really see the yellow in their coloration. They sometimes look orangey, but they're often yellowy. At least when you get them at farmers markets and such. And then we have the coast redwood, chipmunk, Townsend's chipmunk. The Knight of Pentacles is the Olympic elk. The Queen of Pentacles is a beaver, right? Is that a beaver? That's a beaver. Wait. Oh, wait. Wait. I skipped a page. Hold on. You're not an Olympic elk. What are you? Because I read the wrong page. The Knight of Pentacles, a black-tailed deer. Then we have our North American beaver. Oops. And then we have our elk. Is it great horned elk? What's it called? Olympic elk. Here. Love that. Okay. So I didn't really talk much about cardstock and such, but it is really lovely. It feels like a matte UV. These are edged in, it could very well be a blackened green because it seems to match the backs of the cards. It could be black. It's possible. But I feel like it's really just this deep teal that you have here on the sides. This feels lovely. It doesn't feel too terribly thick. It's probably, I don't remember from the campaign page, but I'm guessing it's a 330 GSM, not a 350. So it feels like it's still got quite a bit of like bend. And I do suspect it's a matte UV coating. I'm just guessing based on all the samples and stuff from my cardstock video, but it feels really lovely to shuffle. So I mentioned that there was probably going to be a confession coming later in the video because when I got this in and I took the plastic wrap off the cards and I was reminded of the art style of this deck, this kind of vector style, I realized that an Oracle deck that I've gotten and that I had decided to not keep matched it perfectly. And so I want to see what it's going to look like because I strongly suspect that this deck will mean I'm going to want to keep the Oracle deck. So I took the Oracle deck out and I looked at it and I have a few thoughts already, but let's talk about, again, the seed and sickle. And you can kind of tell, there's a little spoiler, I have picked out a bag for it. And just that is very telling. And I think it's a lovely match. So here's what I've discovered. Just pulling this back out and looking at it again, after those initial impressions and after thinking about the fact that I do already have a plant Oracle that I really love, one of the things that I wanted to sort of try before I wrote it off entirely, once I got this in, I hadn't done my walkthrough, I hadn't flipped through all the cards in the Pacific Northwest Tarot, but I wanted to pull back out the seed and sickle from my purgatory drawer and take another look and just see like what I thought. So I shuffled the deck kind of like this. And I pulled out, this deck actually comes with 2 guidebooks. And I read again what it said about the purposes of the 2 guidebooks. And so this is the Dusk guidebook. And the Dawn guidebook I've actually put away. Because I was reading the back and it talks about how the Dusk guidebook is, okay, this booklet contains the Dusk readings for the cards, for when you're looking for guidance on how to best take care of body and mind. If you're looking to start a new project or undertaking a period of expansion and growth, open the Dawn booklet for a reading that will help you achieve your goals. And I just realized, I think part of my problem with this deck is, as much as I thought that the 2 guidebook system was really incredible, I was like, how do I know which guidebook I want to work with? And so I did a few sample readings for myself, just pulling a single card and reading what the guidebook had to say. And I realized that this dusk guidebook seems to have the type of messages that align best with my practice. And I was like, well, I don't have to use the dawn guidebook. I can put that one away. And if I feel called to work with that at another time, maybe in the spring, or when I'm feeling like I want to move more into that place of expansion and growth and less introspection maybe. But like the way that I read my cards, this guidebook seemed to speak my speak. And I was like, okay, I need to give this another shot. So now I'm going to actually see if I was right about the art style. And I think that I am, because we're going to zoom in. Because this is how I would typically do a daily reading for myself, is I would pull an oracle card to represent my thought for the day, my energy for the day, what I need to focus on. And so here I've got citrus sitting on the top. So let's just work through what we've got on the table as a sample just to see what happens. So citrus is card 45. Look at this art together though. It literally looks like they could have potentially come from the same artist, or at least be using the same sort of medium for their digital artwork. I suspect this is digital artwork. I shouldn't make that assumption, but it does seem like that to me. So let's say I've pulled this citrus card as my card of the day. And it says here, citrus fruits are packed full of protective powers. In India, they are often pierced through with red string and hung in doorways, blah, 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 to ward off misfortune. You've been struck with a number of situations recently that you feel are out of your control. But though the circumstances that cause them might be, the way that you handle them is not. You have inside the strength to govern how they affect you. Some battles can be won and some are best left alone. Listen to your inner voice that already knows which is which. So I would actually then take a message like that and I would ask myself, what recent battle do I need to take a look at? What recent battle am I sort of still holding on to? Or what recent kerfuffle is still sort of in my mind as something that I am dealing with? And I have here the 9 of Pentacles. So I'm going to go into the Pacific Northwest guidebook and take a look at the 9 of Pentacles and see what it has to say about the Rainier cherries, which is so delightful, actually. Luxury, abundance, plenty, achievement, hard work paid off, and a walled garden. The orchard was beautiful, but its walls were high. The trees were heavy with fruit, but it was easy to forget the work and care that had made them so. Oh my God, this is so on point for me right now. The golden red orbs were perfect, but they'd never have appeared without pollen from another cultivar. The bees had performed that labor, but the fruit of it was not their reward. The cherries were sweet, but they were not for everyone. That didn't make them any less delicious. So this actually speaks to a very specific thing that's happened in my personal life recently, where I was just kind of made aware of some areas where maybe I've been a little bit complacent, maybe not really noticing as much. And it's like, okay, citrus feels like it's giving me the message of like, yeah, like don't beat yourself up and don't harp on the stuff that you can't control, the stuff that's already happened, but like know that you can like decide how you're going to move forward. And then this is kind of helping me identify which situation this was talking about. So then I usually like to I take my oracle message and I'm like, okay, what do I need to like look at from this message? And I pull my first tarot card. And then I would ask a follow-up question based on this, something like, okay, what is the best way for me to move forward? And I would pull a card to the right side. And here we have the 2 of Wands, which, as I remember correctly, was a red-tailed hawk, but a juvenile. So I'm going to go back into the tarot and look for the advice from this card for me, for moving forward from this situation. So this is the fledgling red-tailed hawk, and it says, what goes through a bird's head the first time they try to fly? As they hop off the edge and plummet toward the ground, are they feeling trepidation, fear, a sense of rightness driven by the force of instinct? And as they open their wings and catch the air, gaining altitude and control for the first time, do they feel relief, accomplishment, joy in finding their purpose, in performing the action that every aspect of their body has evolved for? Is each unique in their reactions, feelings, and eagerness to step off the edge, or do they just fly? And to me, I would take this advice and go, okay, it's time for me to take a leap of faith, to trust the process and trust what comes next and trust myself to know the right way. And so that's what I would take away from this entire message. And just in that sample reading, I'm confident that these 2 decks will speak very nicely to one another. And for me in my practice, I feel like that suddenly I've understood how the seed and sickle fits into my practice. And I'm actually really excited because I thought when I first got this deck in that this was going to be just another plant deck. And I've discovered through playing around with it and then just doing the sample reading with you guys that actually it's more than that. I feel like it has some really wonderful messages and I feel like it has this nurturing vibe. But I feel like I get that partly from working specifically with the Dusk guidebook. And so once I recognized, oh wait, I think I want to work with this guidebook specifically, suddenly it all came together. And I was like, oh, okay. And that's kind of what I was planning, what I was thinking was going to work, right? And so until I did the walkthrough, my big stopping point, and the reason I didn't want to talk about this until I did this video is because I've talked about this before on the channel, but I don't work with the deck. I don't look at the images. I don't sit and go through them, nothing, until I sit down to film my first initial walkthrough. And I do that on purpose because I feel like, for one, it is a very intentional practice where I pick a cloth, I set the stage. It feels to me very ritualized, this process of filming the walkthrough and sharing it with you guys. But also it feels like I am more likely to pause and take my time and really look at the images and really consider what I think about the deck when I do this process. And so this has become an essential part of my deck bonding routine. Some people will do deck interview spreads, or they'll work with the deck for a set period of time when they first get it in, but this is mine. And so I will sit the deck in a drawer of to be worked with decks until I have time to sit down and really give it the attention it deserves. But when I got this in and I was reminded of the art style, because I'd recently reviewed the Seed and Sickle deck, I was like, I think these two are going to be speaking the same language. They definitely aesthetically look stunning together. But more than that, I was like, I feel like they're meant to work together. And I for sure feel like that's true now, having put them side by side like this. I feel like their borders are similar, like their layout is similar. The artwork seems to just gel so beautifully together that I'm like, thank goodness I hadn't already found a new home for this Seed and Sickle, because I really am convinced now that I will enjoy working with this deck. And it feels, in a way, more practical than even my other plant deck, which I have held it up against as the reason why I wasn't going to keep this deck. But I think it's because the other plant deck feels more like a deck to get to know plants and work with plant energy. And while I think that I'm still working with plant energy with this deck, this feels like it's also offering a very specific method for introspection, which I appreciate and am really excited to get to know. So yeah, there's the mandrake. Oh, I love that. Okay, so I have a newfound excitement for the Seed and Sickle, which was about to leave my collection, and it was just saved in the nick of time by the Pacific Northwest Tarot. And in fact, at the time I'm filming this, it is just prior to the first of the year, and I've already picked out a 2-pocket wrap bag of Peggy's that she made me. This was my tantrum bag. For those of you who don't know the story, there's a story. But in any case, I'm going to be working with both of these decks together for the upcoming week and seeing how they play and getting to know them and doing my regular journaling and tarot practice with them. And I'm so excited to be doing that. So if you don't know, that's what I do. I have my little Canon IB printer. I do my, has it got paper? Yeah. I do my readings and I record them and I journal them. And this is what I'm going to be working with for the first week of the new year. And I couldn't be more excited. So I didn't fan the cards, but you know what? This is so satisfying to see this. So I'm going to leave it right here for you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I did my tour of the Pacific Northwest Tarot. Now, you know what? I do want to fan the cards. I can't handle it. I'm like very ritualized. Like I need to do it, right? We need to see how it fans too. I feel like that's important. That's important, right? So let's just take a look. I'm sure it's going to be beautiful because they're matte, but they're not at all sticky. Oh, it's a little clumpy. Let's try that again. Gosh, they feel so slidey in my hands, but like sometimes decks that feel slidey don't fan as well as I think they're going to. So you have to help it along, but it gets there in the end. That, my friends, the Pacific Northwest Tarot and my revisit of the, let's do it this way, of the Seed and Sickle. So there we have it. I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts down below. Let me know. Were you surprised that the Seed and Sickle suddenly came into this video? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them down below. As always, please do remember to click like if you enjoyed this video or you found value in it. Subscribe if you're new here, and don't forget to click that little notification bell so you're notified of all my future videos. Thank you all so much, and may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye, guys.